Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV, doing one of those reviews that you wish you didn't have to do. Chelsea women 3, Manchester City women 1, and in all honesty, City were never in that game, pretty much, for a brief period in the first half and a brief period in the second half, but let's be honest, Chelsea were far superior to City in pretty much almost every single department. And you notice right from the get-go, Chelsea pressurised City. They put the press on us. They were very heavy-handed with us. A lot of physicality, a lot of intensity. As I said, they pressed very high, very hard, and that resulted in City making mistakes. Mistakes that you sometimes see in other games. But this was the mistakes due to the pressure and the hounding of the Chelsea front line and the midfield. I've got to say that Chelsea midfield was pretty awesome. City had a few moments in the first half early on. I think Chloe Kelly once again showed why Chloe Kelly is a fantastic player, showing her pace, her direct approach, blasting past midfielders with the pace. But far too often we were making bad decisions, making bad passes, and making some poor mistakes. And I think that was not just, as I said, it's not just to the way City played, but you've got to give full credit to Chelsea for the way they pressurised us and they made us make mistakes. The first 10 minutes is pretty much mostly Chelsea. Had a reasonable chance after about 12 minutes, but she couldn't control the ball when she, I think good control would have allowed her to have a shot from inside the box. But for about 10 to 20, from the 10th to the 20th minute, it was all Chelsea in my book, and suddenly out of nothing, and very much against the run of play, Sam Mewis hit the post. And Sam Mewis from this game was one of our towering lights. There weren't really many good performances from City. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who comes out of this game with too much credit. Sam Mewis, I think, did. Chloe Kelly with a little bit from some of her play, and in the second half I think Rose Lavelle worked hard. I think Georgie Stanley worked hard as well, but Mewis hit that post. I think she was she's got so much power, she's got so much strength. I mean, she's what, 5'11", 6 foot tall, and she just bounces people. So she bounced one of the Chelsea players off and curled the ball around the keeper. I think the keeper's name is Berger, and it hit the post, and it was just so unlucky. And as I said to Jenny after the game, goals change matches. It can change the way the game goes. Now, there's nothing to say that if City had scored, they would have gone on to win the game, or that Chelsea wouldn't have come back and shown how the class they've really got. But it would have given us a stronger foothold into the game. It would have given us something to hold on to. There's some, I think Millie Bright got a yellow card for a late challenge, and there were some errors from the referee, and I think the penalty, I've got to talk about the penalty. Look, Chelsea got a penalty. City were making errors, which led to a corner. It was headed out, and a shot come in. I think it was Cuthbert had a shot from outside the box. It was blasted. It was hit really, really firmly. And Demi Stokes put her arms up like that. I think it hit her elbow or just below, or in a side. It's very hard to tell. And behind Demi there was Ellen White. Now, Ellen White thought she was going to get hit with the ball, so she turned like that, put her hands up to protect herself. Referee, what does the referee see? He sees Ellen White going like that, the ball going off sideways, and he believes that Ellen White's handled the ball when it's actually hit Demi Stokes. He books Ellen White. Ellen White's livid, has to be dragged away in the end, because Ellen White knows, I didn't touch that ball, he never came anywhere near me. But penalty was given wrongly, but it was given. Mjelde steps up, sends Ellie Robert the wrong way, and to be honest, Ellie Robert, she could have dived the right way and she wouldn't have saved that. It was a well-struck penalty, but lots of chances were starting to come from Chelsea. There's after 41 minutes, massive scramble in the City box. I think City were pretty lucky to get away with that. Then I think I've got to talk about Lucy Bronze. I've got to be honest, I'm disappointed with her performance today. I looked at other games as well. Going forward today, I think she was quite spirited, quite exciting, had some pretty good runs going forward. But defensively, she was missing in action far too often. I mean, pulled apart, left, right, and it was really, I think it was a real struggle. It's a real struggle for her today, defending. Once again, you got to weigh it up because Chelsea have got some fantastic players. You can't take anything away from their players, but Lucy Bronze is one of the best players in the world. She's, we talk about her as one of the best right backs, if not the best right back in world football. So you would have hoped to get a little bit more resolution from her, a little bit more of a solid defensive display. Second half, you were thinking, does Gareth Taylor, the City manager, does he make any changes? Because we were pretty toothless. Ellen White ran her socks off, but there was very little support, and it's not what you want to see Ellen White doing. You don't want to see him running left and right from one side to the other, chasing the ball. You want to see her in the box, being fed and scoring. Okay, but within the first 10 or 12 minutes, first 10 minutes of that second half, okay, Chelsea had chance after chance after chance, and there weren't poor chances. There were blooming good chances. So I'm looking through my notes. Another Chelsea shot. Bronze not good enough. After 51 minutes, Sam Kerr, she should have scored. She had a free header. I think the ball was played inside, if I remember correctly, Demi Stokes, and crossed in. Sam Kerr, free header, no one anywhere near her. She headed it over. Poor mistake from her, poor miss. A couple of minutes later, she missed kicks from about just outside the penalty, around the penalty spot. She should have at least hit the target. In my opinion, she should have scored. Another minute later, Cuthbert hits over the bar from a Lucy Bronze mistake, and I actually was right at the time. City are getting worse and not better. And that first 10 minutes of the second half, with so many chances coming Chelsea's way, I said, we should be making a change here. We have to make a change in personnel or the shape or something, because we are getting overrun and Chelsea are going to score again. And no sooner had I finished writing my notes, Sam Kerr scores. Okay, so let's talk about the Chelsea goal, because it was it's a piece of class, touch of class. It was a great goal. It was a fantastic goal. You've got to give them full credit. The South Korean G, she controlled the ball in midfield, knocked it to the side of one City player, and put the ball behind Demi Stokes from the angle. So I think Fran Kirby, who was running for everything. She had so much pace to burn, so much energy. I think she was a player of the match. Her and G, for me, were just outstanding. So Fran Kirby comes down, and she just rolls the ball into Sam Kerr's path. Sam Kerr, 8 yards out, just has to tap it into the net and stroke it past Ellie Roebuck, and it was 2-0. And I wrote at that time, City were hanging on. Demi Stokes was struggling. I did feel her head drop, and I thought a few of the City players, the shoulders were a bit, were drooped a little bit. So we had to make some changes. Georgie Stanley came on, Rose Lavelle came on, and as soon as Stanley came on, she was very physical. She was leaving her mark a little bit too firmly on the Chelsea players, and she was spoken to by the referee. But within less than 10 minutes, she put in three, stern bits of physicality. Rose Lavelle running like crazy, lots of energy. I think we're going to see her starting probably next weekend. I think she's ready for it. The energy she showed, an application. After 71 minutes, a cross by Caroline Weir, clearly handball by Millie Bright. I know Jenny after the game said Millie Bright should have got a second yellow card and sent off for that. I'd have said it's a bit. You could argue 50-50 one way or the other. Millie Bright, as I said, already got a yellow card in the first half. So got a penalty. Chloe Kelly sends the keeper the wrong way with her unique style of taking a penalty. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. Ball high into the back of the net, and it's 2-1. Game on. And then City it looked like we were the ones in the ascendancy. We'd come back into it with those two changes. It looked like we might be the ones to score again. But after 78 minutes, a goal from Fran Kirby. Now, ball was passed through. Fran Kirby was through. Ellie Roebuck came out. Now, some people are saying she should not have come out. She should have stood on line and let the defender deal and try and. But the defender was never going to catch Fran Kirby. The defender had no chance. Never was going to catch Fran Kirby. So Fran Kirby, Ellie Roebuck came out. Fran Kirby went round and slotted it home. So. We were chasing the game. We were chasing the game at that time, and we were going to leave a 1-on-1 situation at the back. And if it was time right, which it was, Kirby was through, and she did the business. And however much down and disheartened and despondent and I won't say depressed, but dispirited the players are and the fans are, because we wanted a decent show from City. You know, Chelsea beat us in the Community Shield a few weeks ago, and now they've put us to the sword again. And I'll be honest with you guys, for the number of chances Chelsea had, if they'd scored 6 today, it would not have flattered them. And that's really hard to take. The performance, the setup, you know, from City didn't work. Now, you'd expect a lot of physicality, you'd expect a lot of power, you'd expect a lot of pressure from Chelsea. And we absorbed that for the first 20 minutes. Bit of luck here and there, but hey, who doesn't need a bit of luck now and again? But, you know, it's the way Chelsea controlled that game, the way Chelsea ran that game. You know, midfield, they trampled on us. Sam Mewis, I think Sam Mewis was our one shining light in midfield. I was disappointed with the other midfielders. They never really got into the game. They were bullied. I think that's the word. They were bullied off that ball, and the defence were bullied into making mistakes. And yes, we might have had a lot of possession, but a lot of possession passing from Ellie Roebuck to Gemma Bonner to Steph Orton to Lucy Bronze, and back and forth and back and forth. That's nowhere to have your possession. Chelsea, if you look at the heat map or where Chelsea got the possession, it was probably more in the middle of the park rather than where we had it around our back line. So that, you know, the possession stats might give a false impression that City were in the game. City were really, you know, we were not in the game once Chelsea scored until the second half, when we got that goal back, and we looked like we might have a little bit of impetus, a little bit of about us to you know, snatch a draw when we really didn't deserve it. So guys, we've got to pick ourselves up after that disappointing display and result. Congratulations to Chelsea. They really did a number on us. It's going to be a very good team that beats Chelsea to the title this season. See you around, Blues.